What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the next step for the Halo franchise, and it is, my God, a lot of stuff is happening, right? You got a studio name change, you got an engine change, and I think overall you have a lot of optimism, and that's kind of what I want to focus on in this video is more or less my feelings. So I'll leave a link in the description for like the full video. Obviously, they posted this last night, and they announced the engine change. They announced kind of like what they're doing, right? So they kind of had this project to more or less get the team like up to snuff with where they wanted to be, right? Kind of seemingly a very heavy art type project where they were tasked of like creating different worlds or different maps, 3 of them I believe in all, and there were other things that kind of went into it. But it sounded very like art and technology, and again, just to try to get people up to snuff on Unreal because they're moving to Unreal Engine 5, and there was a little bit of that, as well in the presentation, and just this general sense of like renewal, right? Actually, honestly, rebirth. It really was a rebirth of the studio, and the studio obviously having its name changed. So 343 is dead, and now obviously it's called Halo Studios, which I think is a good name. And overall, I mean, look, I guess here's what I want to say. I am optimistic. I don't know if I would say I feel good about it, but I want to feel good. I think they have a lot of talent. I think, with what they're planning now, I think just things have to be a bit more organized. And I think that's something that, when you hear rumors about some of these Xbox studios, sometimes you hear that stuff. Sometimes you hear that stuff when it comes to Xbox upper management. So I really think you just need these teams to really pull together and just figure it out. And we know there's been leadership changes and people have been brought over, and yet there's still some people that are there. I think a lot of the art direction type people are actually still there from Halo Infinite. But you know what? The visual appeal and what they were doing with the art was a pretty big strength of Halo Infinite, so that makes sense. I remember seeing a post on Twitter where it was kind of like broken down, like here's some of the leads and what they've done before. They've got some good people. They've got some talented people, and they've obviously kept some talent. It's not like they fired everybody and restocked, but this is a new era, and part of the announcement, it's actually kind of interesting, right? Because you announced like a Blade, right, at the last year's Game Awards. So you announced like the Wonder Woman game. And it's commonly known that when companies do this, one big reason why they announce a game 5 years before it comes out is actually literally to get talent. They want you to know what they're working on so that you want to work on it and that you jump in. Not even just for consumers. It's not even just for us to say, oh God, we get to get a Wonder Woman game in 7 years. Well, it's also if you want to work on a game, you know now who's making it and you can go apply. And that's normally how it goes. Like, in the Game Awards or any of these kind of shows, this was also kind of that, right? Because it makes the pitch of like, okay, we're done with kind of splitting the team. They mentioned that in the beginning of this video. We don't want to be a technology studio and a game studio, right? Because they have to work on the engine, have all of that kind of department while also making a game on it. Now they're working, obviously, on Unreal. So I wonder what happens to those people, by the way, but hopefully they can just be moved around in the studio or in the company. They don't get fired. But now things can be more focused, right? More streamlined. And I think that, honestly, is kind of a pitch to new people as well, where it's like, hey, you don't have to worry with like a homegrown, engine. You can work on Unreal. So, but it was also, like I said, like, I don't know, for the fan perspective, I think it is aimed at optimism and this like renewed energy where it's like, if you thought we were kind of down and out, maybe we were, but think again, because now we're back. So it kind of came across like that to fans. And then I think, a big part of it was we're hiring. We want to actively expand the team, and we're working on a lot of stuff. So that was a big one from a fan perspective like me, right, is they said projects plural. So it's like more than one thing is going on. Now, I believe that Battle Royale game, I think Tanaka was maybe the code name for it. That game, I think, was canceled like a year or two ago. So, as of right now, we kind of just know the next thing is like the next major Halo, but wouldn't be surprised if you get spin-offs, or maybe they go back to a battle royale type thing, because it sounds like they're definitely doing more than one. But it also sounds like they're reaching like things out. Well, they kind of made it sound like they're going outside of gaming. I mean, they have the show, which I don't think was very good and kind of got canceled, but also like it's possible they shop it around, it could still come back. But overall, is the future of Halo bright? I think it's brighter than it's been. And again, like I think that's kind of what this was aimed at is, we know we faltered. We know things haven't always been great, but we're really looking to regroup, grow, do something a little bit different and refocus. I think that's a big word. A lot of these words, but refocus and like get ready for what's to come. So I will say this kind of to end it. Again, optimism. Like, I'm an optimistic guy. I tend to give games a lot of excitement. From me, it's almost where they have to prove to me that they suck before I kind of turn on them. Like, I want to believe in a lot of games, if that makes sense. However, I'm not willing to just like throw and say, oh, okay, well, everything's solved based off of their past track record. That's a big thing, especially when you have a track record, right? You look at it and you say, okay, I can be excited for your next game. And this is not just them. It's anybody. I can be excited for a video game, but also I will keep my expectations in check based off like what I think they're able to give me. And, if the past history is bad, then I'll, adjust accordingly, so on. So, for this, I do think it's important to say, like, it's all talk. Right now, it's literally all talk. Now, it's good talk. It's the exact kind of talk we need to hear. It's the kind of talk to attract new talent. Like, it's all good. You have to do stuff like this. But, in terms of reserving, like, the final judgment, right, I think that needs to happen because they're in a prove-it mode, much like I think a lot of actually many studios around the world are in prove-it modes where, maybe you shouldn't give them all of your trust. And for them, Halo Infinite, I actually quite liked, but I'm not, like, the biggest hardcore. Like, I thought the story and the single player overall was pretty good. I think it was a rebound for them, but I wouldn't say it was like elite. And then I liked the multiplayer, but I'm not a diehard. I'm not planning on playing it every single day, and I didn't. And I know, the way that a lot of the stuff unraveled, especially at launch, and just how long it took to get certain things in place, I don't know. Like, I would say they probably let a lot of people down with Halo Infinite after letting probably more people down, in the past. So they definitely, they're not on that path of redemption yet. They maybe in words, but not in actual action. So I think it's important to say, while, I appreciate the message, not just to me, but to everybody, right? I appreciate them trying, and you can want them to do good. I want them to do good. They still have to prove it, and we still have to actually get a game that's like extremely good and bring Halo back at its strongest. It's actually quite hilariously awful that Halo is like one of the biggest things I think on planet Earth. I really, in terms of like properties and how much it could mean to Xbox and the Xbox ecosystem if it was just consistently elite, just like as it should be. It should never falter from being consistently elite. And yet they've dropped the ball, them specifically, maybe not every single person that works there now, but generally that studio has dropped the ball pretty big time. So they definitely do need to reverse course, and I think that's obviously what they're trying to do. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.